Ladies and gentlemen, today I want to talk about a powerful, yet often misunderstood aspect of the human spirit, the woman who carries her pain in silence. This woman, perhaps like someone you know, or even like yourself, often appears strong, composed, and unbreakable. She faces the challenges of life, from heartaches to burdens, quietly. But beneath the surface, there is a different story. One of unspoken struggles, unresolved tears, and a strength that is, at times, almost too much to bear. The truth is, the woman who carries her pain in silence is often misunderstood. Her quiet demeanor does not speak of weakness, but rather a deep well of resilience. She chooses silence, not because she lacks courage, but because she believes that sharing her pain might burden those she loves or distract them from their own struggles. But in this silence, a toll is taken. There is an emotional and mental weight that accumulates over time, and though her strength is extraordinary, her heart can become weary. We often celebrate strength in silence, but it's important to remember that even the strongest among us need to let go sometimes. No one is meant to carry all their pain alone. It is easy to see someone who appears strong and assume they don't need help. But every woman who carries her pain in silence must recognize that true strength lies not in hiding the hurt, but in knowing when to ask for help, when to reach out, and when to rest. It's okay to cry. It's okay to seek comfort. It's okay to ask for support. In the journey of healing, compassion for oneself is just as essential as compassion for others. To carry pain in silence for too long is like carrying a heavy load without ever putting it down. Eventually, it wears you down. But when we learn to offer ourselves the same kindness we offer to others, we begin to heal. And we give others the permission to be vulnerable as well. When we open up about our pain, we create space for others to share their struggles too. So, let us encourage the women around us, whether it's a mother, a sister, a friend, or a colleague, to not carry their pain in silence forever. Let us empower them to speak, to lean on others, and to be okay with not always being the strong one. True empowerment comes not from suffering in silence, but from embracing our vulnerabilities and knowing that we are worthy of care and love, just like anyone else. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we are all stronger when we support each other, when we share our stories, and when we break the silence that too often keeps us isolated in our struggles. Let us lift each other up, not just in joy, but also in pain. For in sharing we heal, and in healing we become stronger together. The woman who carries her pain in silence is often a figure of quiet strength, one who endures the hardships of life with remarkable resilience. There is an inherent power in her silence. It is not an absence of emotion, nor is it a refusal to confront the challenges she faces. Instead, it is a conscious choice to protect herself, her loved ones, or the world around her. In a society that often values outward expression, her silence may seem like an enigma, but it is, in fact, a profound demonstration of her inner strength. This silence is not born of passivity or weakness, but rather from a deep internal resolve. The woman who carries her pain quietly understands that strength doesn't always have to be loud or visible. She has learned to hold her emotions close to her chest, choosing to navigate her struggles without putting them on display. The world often expects women to be caretakers, nurturers, and strong pillars for those around them. In these roles, their own pain may go unnoticed or be seen as secondary to the needs of others. As a result, many women choose to bear their burdens privately, not because they want to be seen as unbreakable, but because they feel it is their responsibility to protect others from their own suffering. This decision to carry pain in silence is often made out of love for those around her, love for the people she cares for, and even love for herself. She might feel that sharing her pain would burden those she loves, Or perhaps she believes that by keeping her struggles to herself, she can maintain a sense of control over the situation. In some cases, it may even be a form of self-preservation. When the world seems overwhelming, when everything feels like too much, it may feel safer to keep everything inside, to hold on to that pain as a way of maintaining some semblance of order in a world that feels chaotic. However, what many may not realize is that this silence, while demonstrating incredible strength, can also be a double-edged sword. The more a woman suppresses her pain, the heavier it becomes. It can weigh on her heart, her mind, and even her body, manifesting in ways that are not always immediately visible to the outside world. Emotional pain that is kept hidden can have a deep and lasting impact on one's well-being. It can lead to stress, anxiety, and depression, and over time, the constant burden of unspoken grief can become exhausting. The woman who carries her pain in silence may appear strong, but there are moments when the weight of it becomes overwhelming, and she wonders if anyone truly sees her struggles. Yet there is something profoundly powerful about choosing to endure hardship in silence. It speaks to the resilience of the human spirit and the ability to survive in the face of adversity. This woman has been through battles, whether they be personal losses, emotional wounds, or physical pain, and she keeps moving forward. It is not that she has no vulnerabilities, but that she has found a way to exist with them, to navigate life despite them. Her silence is a testament to her capacity for endurance and self-reliance, but it should not be mistaken for invincibility. In truth, the woman who carries her pain in silence is often a deeply empathetic person, someone who understands the weight of suffering and the importance of protecting others from unnecessary pain. Her quiet strength is something she has cultivated over time, perhaps out of necessity, or perhaps out of a deep desire to be a source of support for others. She may have learned from an early age that the world often demands women to be strong, to be constant, to be the ones who hold it all together. As a result, she internalizes this expectation and, in doing so, begins to carry her burdens alone. But there is a delicate balance to be struck. While this silent strength is admirable, it is also important for women to recognize that they are not invulnerable. There is a danger in bearing pain in isolation for too long. The act of carrying it in silence may protect others, but it can ultimately prevent the woman from healing. In keeping her pain locked inside, she may miss the opportunity to experience the relief that comes from sharing and releasing it. In the end, the woman who carries her pain in silence is a powerful figure. She demonstrates a level of strength and resilience that is unmatched, and her ability to endure is nothing short of remarkable. However, it is essential for her to recognize that even the strongest among us need support. Strength doesn't always come from holding everything in. Sometimes it comes from knowing when to release it. The woman who carries her pain in silence is not weak for seeking help or sharing her struggles. In fact, it is in breaking the silence that she can truly find the healing and peace she so richly deserves. The hidden toll of carrying pain in silence is one of the most profound and often overlooked aspects of emotional endurance. While many admire the woman who bears her struggles quietly, few recognize the internal price she pays. The truth is, when pain is carried alone without being shared, acknowledged, or processed, it can have a devastating impact on both mental and physical health. The silent burden of unexpressed emotions often builds up over time, and without an outlet for release, it festers, affecting every area of her life. One of the first consequences of carrying pain in silence is the emotional toll it takes. Repressed emotions, whether they stem from loss, trauma, heartache, or personal failure, are never truly gone. They sit, unspoken, under the surface, waiting for a moment to resurface in unexpected ways. Over time, this emotional weight accumulates, and the woman who has been carrying it begins to feel the effects. She may find herself becoming more withdrawn, more irritable, or even overwhelmed by feelings she cannot articulate. Her inner world becomes a place of quiet chaos, a constant battle between the desire to remain strong and the growing realization that the emotional pain is becoming too much to bear. The silence with which pain is carried also creates a barrier to self-compassion. The woman who keeps her suffering hidden may feel that her pain isn't valid or that it isn't worth sharing. She might compare her struggles to others who seem to have it worse, dismissing her own feelings as unimportant. This lack of self-compassion can lead to a dangerous cycle where she continues to carry her burdens, denying herself the comfort and healing that could come from simply acknowledging her pain. Over time, the inability to show herself kindness can lead to feelings of isolation and self-criticism, further compounding the emotional toll she already faces. Another significant toll is the impact on mental health. Prolonged emotional distress, especially when kept in silence, can lead to anxiety, depression, and other mental health issues. The weight of unexpressed grief, anger, or sadness doesn't just disappear, it lodges deep in the psyche, manifesting in ways that are difficult to recognize at first. Over time, this internalized pain can disrupt cognitive functions, impairing decision-making, problem-solving, and even the ability to experience joy. A woman who carries her pain quietly might appear fine on the outside, but within, her mental well-being is slowly deteriorating. Her mind is consumed with the unresolved emotions that she hasn't allowed herself to face. The toll of carrying pain in silence also extends to the body. Emotional pain that is not processed tends to manifest physically, as the body and mind are inextricably connected. Studies have shown that unexpressed emotions can contribute to physical ailments such as chronic pain, digestive issues, headaches, and even cardiovascular problems. The woman who carries her pain quietly may begin to notice these physical symptoms. Yet, she might not immediately connect them to her emotional struggles. She might assume that she is simply tired, stressed, or just going through a difficult period. But in reality, her body is signaling that the emotional weight she is carrying has taken a physical toll. Carrying pain in silence also prevents the opportunity for growth and healing. When emotions are repressed, they cannot be fully processed or understood. Painful experiences, whether they involve loss, betrayal, or failure, carry valuable lessons about resilience, forgiveness, and self-awareness. But if those emotions remain buried, the lessons remain untapped. The woman who never allows herself to fully confront and release her pain may find it harder to move forward, because she is unable to truly heal from what she has experienced. This prevents her from growing emotionally and psychologically, leaving her stuck in a cycle of unresolved trauma or sadness that she is unable to break free from. Another layer of this hidden toll is the impact it has on relationships. When a woman carries her pain in silence, she often isolates herself, even from the people who care about her most. She may believe that by keeping her struggles hidden, she is protecting those around her. But in reality, this silence can create a distance between her and the people she loves. Friends and family may notice a change in her behavior but may not know how to help, because she hasn't shared what is truly going on. This can create misunderstandings, feelings of loneliness, and a sense of disconnection. Relationships that could be sources of support and healing become strained because her pain is hidden behind walls that she has built in the name of strength. In the end, the hidden toll of carrying pain in silence is profound, affecting every aspect of a woman's well-being. The emotional, mental, and physical consequences are real, and they cannot be ignored. It is crucial to understand that strength does not lie in bearing pain alone. True strength comes from recognizing when the burden is too great to carry by oneself and seeking help, whether from friends, family, or professionals. By breaking the silence, the woman allows herself the opportunity to heal, to process her emotions, and to step into a healthier, more vibrant version of herself. Silence may protect her for a time, but it is through expression, understanding, and connection that true healing begins. The societal expectations placed on women to be strong, nurturing, and self-sufficient often create a barrier that prevents them from seeking the support they need. The woman who carries her pain in silence is deeply aware of these expectations, and her silence can sometimes be a response to the pressure to maintain an image of strength. In a world that often values external appearances over emotional well-being, there is an implicit belief that to be truly strong, one must endure hardship quietly and without complaint. This cultural expectation can make it difficult for women to express vulnerability, and as a result, they often feel compelled to hide their pain rather than share it. One of the most significant challenges in this context is the belief that seeking help is a sign of weakness. Women, particularly those who have internalized the message that they must always be strong, may fear being perceived as fragile or incapable if they ask for help. They may believe that admitting to pain or emotional distress will diminish their value or make them seem less competent. The fear of judgment or rejection can create a sense of isolation, causing them to retreat further into silence. This internal conflict, wanting to maintain strength while struggling with unexpressed pain, becomes a vicious cycle that keeps the woman from seeking the help she desperately needs. In many ways, society often pushes women into roles that require them to bear the emotional burdens of others without showing their own vulnerabilities. They are expected to be the caregivers, the supporters, and the ones who hold everything together. These roles can be incredibly rewarding, but they can also create a sense of obligation to carry pain in silence. The woman who is always there for others may feel as though it is her duty to remain strong, to never show weakness, and to handle her own problems privately. This sense of duty can make it difficult for her to acknowledge that she, too, needs support. She might worry that if she opens up about her struggles, she will let others down or disrupt the balance that she has worked so hard to maintain. This fear of burdening others often leads her to suffer in silence, carrying the weight of her pain alone. Furthermore, the fear of vulnerability can be compounded by past experiences of being dismissed or misunderstood when seeking help. Some women may have faced situations where they were not taken seriously or were told to move on or get over it when they expressed their pain. These responses, often well-intentioned but lacking in empathy, can reinforce the idea that their emotions are not worthy of attention or validation. Over time, this can lead to a sense of self-doubt and a reluctance to reach out for help, as the woman may feel that her struggles are not legitimate or that others will not be able to understand her pain. In some cases, these experiences can create a deep sense of shame, causing her to retreat even further into silence. The fear of vulnerability is also linked to the fear of being seen as too emotional or dramatic, a stereotype that has been historically imposed on women. When women express their emotions openly, they can be labeled as irrational or overly sensitive, which can be a powerful deterrent to sharing their pain. This fear of being labeled as too much can lead to the suppression of emotions, with women opting to hide their pain rather than face the risk of being criticized or dismissed. The result is often a deep sense of internalized shame, as the woman feels she is not allowed to express her true feelings without fear of judgment. Moreover, the pressure to maintain an image of strength can be particularly overwhelming in a world where success and self-sufficiency are highly valued. The modern ideal of the empowered woman often focuses on independence, achievement, and the ability to handle challenges without outside assistance. This societal narrative can create an environment in which seeking help is seen as a sign of failure. Women are expected to excel in all areas of their lives, career, family, relationships, while also managing their emotional well-being on their own. This expectation can create an immense burden leaving women feeling like they must suppress their pain in order to meet these lofty standards. The woman who carries her pain in silence may feel as though asking for help would undermine her ability to meet these expectations and compromise her sense of self-worth. The fear of vulnerability also extends to the idea of not wanting to burden others with her pain. Many women, especially those who are used to caring for others, may feel that their struggles are less important than those of the people around them. They may believe that others have enough to deal with in their own lives and that their problems should be dealt with privately. This mindset can lead to a deep sense of self-sacrifice, where the woman is willing to endure pain in silence rather than ask for the support she needs. She may convince herself that her own well-being is secondary to the needs of others, leading to emotional neglect and, eventually, a loss of self-care. In the end, the fear of vulnerability is a powerful force that keeps women trapped in a cycle of silence and isolation. The pressure to be strong, independent, and self-sufficient creates an environment where expressing pain is seen as a weakness, and seeking help is often avoided. However, it is important to recognize that vulnerability is not a sign of weakness. It is, in fact, an essential part of human connection and emotional healing. By allowing themselves to be vulnerable and seek support, women can break free from the fear of judgment and begin the process of healing, not only for themselves but for the relationships they value and the lives they lead. The woman who carries her pain in silence often does so because she believes she is protecting those around her. She thinks that by hiding her struggles, she is shielding her loved ones, friends, or colleagues from the weight of her emotions. She may feel that by keeping her pain to herself, she is preventing others from being burdened by her troubles. This belief, while rooted in care and concern for others, can be both isolating and detrimental to her well-being. The first thing to understand is that this idea of protecting others is often a misconception. While it is certainly admirable to want to shield those we love from suffering, the truth is that emotional pain does not disappear simply because it is kept hidden. Instead, the woman who suppresses her emotions may unknowingly carry a great deal of unspoken stress, tension, and sadness that affects her physical and mental health. She may believe she is sparing others, but in reality, she is silently carrying a heavy burden alone. What's worse, her loved ones may sense that something is wrong, even if she does not outwardly show it. They may feel a distance growing between them, unsure of what is happening, but unable to connect because she has kept her pain hidden. This unspoken tension can make relationships strained, as her silence creates a wall between her and those who care about her.